Hello, students. Good afternoon. So, before we start this session, I'm going to launch a technical poll to see if our audio and visibility is clear. So, please try to attend the poll so that we will understand what's going on. Okay. Please try to answer the technical question so that we will understand if my audio as well as the screen is visible for you. So you can just tap any of the options, yes, no. JNV Silvasa, am I audible? Is my screen visible? Please, can you answer the question? Students, to move on to the session, I need to understand if I'm audible and my screen is visible. Please let me know. If not, you're not able to answer the poll, please put it in the chat box, or you can, yeah, thank you so much. So this was very helpful. So I think we can move on to the session. And the students who are on YouTube, you can put your comments on the chat box so that we can move on to the session. Okay. So yeah. Before we start this session, a very good afternoon to everybody. So a hearty welcome to you, all the 11th standard students. So we as Avanti groups, we are very much delighted to have you here. And then we are too excited to start our classes and sessions so that we will get to know better, and we will try to, support you as much as possible to reach your goals and dreams. All right. So first of all, my name is Vinay Anand. So I am subject matter expert. So I'll be teaching you some of the topics in +1, all right, in English. So before we head on to some of the core concepts of what we are going to do in this first year, let us understand our criteria and why we have to study biology. So as a young guy, so let us say, before I start my story, what do you think about biology? So you can put your comments on the chat box so that I will be able to follow you. Okay. What do you think about biology? All right, then. So instead of wasting the time, I will wait for your answers because you would have already started, typing your answers or trying to reach the answers. So I'll give you a short story. So whenever we think about biology, so for me, the interest of biology started in a very young age. So mostly when I was in, first standard or something like that. So I was very excited about all the life that was around me. So I was excited about the fishes. I was excited about the crabs that were in the ponds. I was excited about the birds that used to visit the ponds or lakes to eat the fish or something like that. So we used to have livestock. So I was very much caring about these buffaloes or cows that were in my home, and even the pets or the dogs that used to be in our family. So from this young age, we start having this deep interest towards understanding the language of animals, how different they are, how different they behave, what type of food they eat, what type of environment they survive, and all that. Okay. But with that small interest, as I moved on my career, okay, biology has become an endless ocean, to conquer. So even today, if you ask me how much I would know in the entire of biology, I would tell not even 0.01%. It's impossible to completely grasp the subject, but there is a sheer satisfaction in understanding the beauty of biology. So I always believe that a mind of a biologist is a very unique mind. Okay. So even a mathematician would say that. Okay. Even a chemist would say that. But why I would say that biology is quite unique and the people who study and love biology are quite unique is because we have this sense of understanding and connecting to the natural history of Earth and all our neighbors and all the elements of the planet which are alive and not alive, okay, biotic or abiotic. So we are too much deeply connected with them, isn't it? So that is why I feel that we understand the language of life. So when I asked you the question, what do you think about biology? I would definitely wait for your answers. Okay, at least by the end of the session, I want you to put some comments on the chat box. Okay, or YouTube guys, you please try to put your comments on the chat box so that I will understand what is your concept of biology. All right. So biology in general, okay, biology in general, it says that it is the study of life, right? So when we talk about life, we talk about birth, growth, and death. Okay. During this birth, growth, and death, so an organism goes through a lot of phases in its life. Okay. For example, it might build a community, it might have its own environment, it might adapt, evolve, it might produce offsprings, right? So as the life moves on, it is a constant change. And when a life is born on this planet, okay, whether it is now or in the past or in the future, whenever we have the life that is originated on this planet, right, we are not very independent. We cannot survive independently, right? So we have a deep connection with our environment. So everybody survives for everybody. Everybody on this planet is for some reason. Okay. So we contribute, every organism contributes in one or the other way. Okay. In sustaining this ecosystem of life. So when we talk about life, or when we talk about classical science, okay, terminology of life, it has a very, very deep meaning, I would say. For example, nowadays we are trying to understand that forest is not just one huge collection of organisms. It is just one huge living biosystem where it undergoes complex communication, right? Take, for example, oceans. Ocean, even though it looks abiotic, when you look at our planet Earth, right? So it is just a floating ball in the space, just like a space shuttle. So for us to sustain life, every single day, our oceans produce around 80% of our oxygen that we consume, and they engineer all the necessary elements that are required to keep the balance of life on this planet Earth. So it is a deeper sense when we talk about life. So in simple, biology is a study of life, I would say. So let us go back to a brief history of how the life was created. Okay. So welcome to this beautiful slide. Okay. So when we talk about our universe, right? Our universe itself is one magnificent and unsolvable mystery, I would say. So there was a statement made. It says that if in our universe, all the cosmological objects or all the cosmic bodies that we have, whether you take stars or asteroids or planets or galaxies, okay, they're all spread across in space, right? So now when all these things are spread across in space, we are perfectly placed at a certain distance. Now, just imagine if there is a little bit of gravity, more gravity, then our entire universe would collapse into a small ball, okay, one huge, gigantic ball, sorry. So if the gravity was very poor, then our entire fabric of universe would tear apart and all this cosmological object would just fly away in space and time, right? So take a look up, about the electromagnetic field that our Earth produces. So that is very much essential for sustaining the life, okay, to create the geomagnetism for the sustenance of life on the planet. A little bit of here and there with the values, there would be no possibility of life on Earth, no matter what. So now when we go back to the past, right, with the greatest gift of the human mind is consciousness, and through consciousness we are able to figure out what is our history, how the life was created, how the cosmology, how the space and time was created. So it is believed that through several theories that are proposed by a great scientist, that the entire cosmic space and time or the universe was created at the beginning of a big bang, okay, at the beginning of a big bang. So before we talk about what is big bang, okay, so now let us say that we take the entire history of our universe as 1 year, okay. So our universe is almost 14 billion years old. So we will condense this 14 billion years old into one single year. So if we condense this into one single year, now what happened if we imagine by the term of January, right? By the term of January, if we had the Big Bang, okay? If we had the Big Bang, now what is Big Bang? Now, for some reason, all the mass, okay, in the universe, all the cosmological mass in the universe started colliding, okay, and started condensing into one heavier mass. So the energy becomes very unsustainable and huge explosion happens where everything is ripped apart. So as the Big Bang happened, okay, as this huge burst happened, the time and space was born. It is a wonderful concept. I hope you study in physics, okay? So once this was born, all the cosmological objects, your stars, galaxies, okay, and all that started moving away from the center of this gravity. And finally, you see, it takes almost, okay, February, March, April, and May. By the term of May, we have our Milky Way, which we call Akashaganga in Sanskrit, right? So it took almost so many billion years for our Milky Way to just form, right? So as the Milky Way was formed, it took another few years, right, for our solar system to be formed, where our sun started cooling down and all the planets started moving apart, okay, moving apart with the decrease in sun's gravity. Now our solar system was formed, and magically our Earth, right, our planet Earth was placed specifically at the third position on our solar system. What is the probability of having this coincidence, right? What is the coincidence of having our planet Earth on a perfect position in our solar system? Now, why would I say that it's a perfect position? You just move a little closer to the sun, it's very hot. You just move a little further from the sun, it's very, very cold, right? So we are very, very beautifully placed in the solar system, where we receive absolutely neutral environment for the sustenance of life. But the life on Earth did not just begin like that, right? As the solar system was formed, it took another few billion years, okay, for the first cell to form. So you will study a lot about evolutionary biology, where the story of Earth, of how Earth was just one hot ball of lava. And as it moved away from the sun, it started cooling down slowly and slowly, right? As it cools down slowly and slowly, now what happens? All the gases were in elemental forms, right? Now the compounds were formed and basic organic material was formed. And through that, magically what happened? The water was created and oceans were created. With the creation of ocean, which I call it as a mother of life, right? There, the first cell was formed. Now, with the beginning of the cell, now what happened? When the life was formed, the only source of energy for all these organisms was sunlight. So they had to perform photosynthesis, and the resultant of photosynthesis was oxygen. All right. So now when we look at the other stories, after the oxygen was formed, now what happened? Later, these prokaryotic organisms evolved to eukaryotic organisms, and eukaryotic organisms evolved to, multicellular life. So it can be fungi, okay? It can be aquatic multicellular life. So it took so much time from January to almost, right, to December, right, to the beginning of the December, the multicellular life was formed. Now, if you just take a look at December, right, if you just take a look at December from the day 1 to, okay, day 14 or day 28 of December, you can see here, first 1, 2, 3, 4, you have the dates here. You can see how the life started evolving, okay, very rapidly on planet Earth. So there was huge adaptation and huge evolutionary process where several ecosystems was formed. We start observing the fossil records, where we see that the life from the oceans and the water sources started migrating to the land, right, in the form of amphibians. Through amphibians, reptiles was formed, okay. After the reptiles were formed, the dinosaurs were entirely wiped out by, the meteor strike. Then again, we have the further, right, the further evolution of mammals and birds and flowers. And after that, we have more complex mammals with more consciousness, like apes, humans, and chimpanzees. So we started understanding how the history of human life, okay, within just one day, if you consider the whole year as the story of the universe, in the one day of the of the year, the entire human evolution would have taken place. All right. So by the last day of your December, humans would have started migrating, okay, to different continents, searching for food, shelter, and so on. So this is a very a rough way to put the entire story of Earth in just one plate, okay. But if we just look at the coincidences, and for example, you take just example of the human intelligence, right, and the look at the diversity that is in the tropical forest, the diversity that is present in the pine forest, okay, or the diversity that is present in your oceans, you see tremendous variety of life, right. So all this was not created in one single day. It has taken billions and billions of years of evolution, progress, and adaptations for the organisms to become so successful. Now you tell me, how gifted are we to just know our real past and relate it to our life, and in just summarizing that we are not just, one entity, we just belong to one great family where all living organisms are our ancestors, and all living organisms have the capability of life and capability of consciousness, right? So let us go ahead and see more history of life. See, as I was summarizing you, right? As I was summarizing the history of life, you can see in a very brief way the entire timeline of how the life evolved on the planet. So suns ignite, the earth move apart, the moon formation takes place. Now tell me, students, what is the significance of moon? Why do we need moon? Can somebody put an answer on the chat box? Even the students who are on the YouTube, you can use the chat box to type your answers. So the session will be very interacting because it's our first session. It would be very nice to interact with each other and get to know each other so that we can have greater sessions in future. All right. So try to type your answer. Okay. So what is the significance of moon is your question, and I want your answer to be there in the chat box. Okay. Let's see how many people will answer here. So the moon was created, and moon has a very significant effect on the entire gravitational system on the planet, right? So I will tell about it. Okay, once I say at least a single answer on the chat box. So once we have the ocean currents and how the the functionality of the oceans, now we have prokaryotic photosynthetic organisms, and then we have eukaryotic cells, right? And then we have the evolution of more complex monorans, that is bacteria, and then we have protozoans, which are eukaryotic unicellular organisms, and then we had fungi, which are one of the most intelligent organisms, even though they look just like plant and very filthy, but they have tremendous ability to communicate and adjust to their environments. And after the fungal, the corals were expanding, right? The corals were expanding in the oceans. Now you can see different varieties of life. For example, jellyfish, worms, mollusks, insects, okay, which are one of the largest phylums on this planet. So all of them started evolving later on. So once we have all these, okay, all these organisms that have been evolved, now the life started, migrating towards the land, where we have from fishes, right? From fishes, we have tetrapods and amphibians. Tetrapod means the organisms with 4 limbs. They started migrating to the land, looking for the new life, new shelter, and new food source. And these were our real ancestors. We are land organisms, and we have to thank all these amphibians which came out of this water and started a new beginning on the land, right? So through amphibians, again, we have reptiles, Jurassic Park. What a wonderful story we had, and what a wonderful books and movies that they created on Jurassic Park, right? It was very fascinating to understand how the environment was there, how these organisms lived, right? After the extinction of, almost during the Jurassic Age itself, there was evolution of birds also. So there was, again, the apocalypse happened because of this meteor strike. And then what happened? Complex mammals. Then we have flowers and bees that started. An entire balance of ecosystem was being created on our planet Earth. And then higher intelligent mammals, that is Homo sapiens, and the ancestors of Homo sapiens before that, that is primates, right? All of them started forming in a very short timeline compared to the entire history of the planet, right? So now you can just think about it. Oh my God, you must just analyze how young are we to this life on the planet, right? We are so young, we are so juvenile to Mother Earth compared to all the living organisms that has existed in the past, right? Chalo. So here we have one beautiful question. So let me test your knowledge, biological knowledge. Which is the largest organism in the world? So I'm not going to answer this question, but I'm going to give you a poll where you can answer this question, okay? So let me see. You have 4 options, okay? You have 4 options. I hope the poll has appeared on your screen. So which is the largest organism in the world? So we have blue whale, we have elephant, we had giant sequoia, and then we have tiger shark. So 3 of the people have answered blue whale. Nice, excellent. But you know what? This is the largest mammal, right? Blue whale is the largest mammal, but we are asking about largest organism. So the largest organism on this planet is a tree. So that is giant sequoia. So you can see in this picture, it is just right here. These trees are humongous. Okay, you have watched Avatar movie, right? So you can just take an assumption of the mother tree. Okay, so if you go to California's Redwood Forest, okay, one day I would definitely wish all my biology students to visit some crazy national parks as explorers and pioneers. Okay, So one day when you just visit this national park, you can see humongous trees, one of the largest trees on this planet Earth. Okay. So answer is C. So I hope you had fun with this one question. So let's see what we have in the later session. So how do we measure life? So from what scale to what scale do we study life with respect to biological sciences? Do we just study microorganisms? Do we just study multicellular organisms? Or do we just study humans alone, or mammals alone, or just African animals alone, or just oceanic animals alone? I told you, biology is an ocean. It's a never ending topic. If you just look at the time, size line of these organisms that we get to study, okay, look at this few examples of certain organisms. Okay, hold on a second. I'll make it better for you. Yeah. So look at this organisms. So parvovirus is usually the virus that infects these dogs, where they get fever, okay, and it causes a certain type of disease where they stop eating and vomiting and all that things. Usually in even cats and all these things, domestic animals get this parvovirus. Look at the size of this. It is just 20 nanometers. Okay. So this is one of the smallest viruses we have known. Same goes to the mycoplasma, right? When it comes to the cellular organisms, mycoplasma is one of the smallest organisms and its size is just 200 nanometers. Now your answer, the largest organism on the planet, you answered as blue whale. Okay, I call it as the mother whale. So you just see the size of the blue whale, right? The blue whale size is so tremendous. In nanometers, it is almost 2,500 billion nanometers. But if we just look at in the normal scale that we can measure, if you just put around 8 double-deck buses, one behind the other, 8 buses, you just put one behind the other, that is the size of this whale. Okay, so look at this, the size of this tree. So you told whale as the answer. See how many times, okay, 8,400 billion nanometers is an average size of this giant sequoia tree. Okay, so when we study the scale of biology, why do we even just measure these organisms? It shows that our intention is not just to study one area of these organisms. We will not leave any single organism that has life, that has a capacity to survive, that shows the behavior of a living organisms, right? We would not leave them. We would want to understand them, and we would now want to relate more and more about the life on this planet. So now you can just understand, oh my God, we can study viruses, we can study microorganisms, we can study from largest mammals, reptiles, amphibians, right? And then even when it comes to botany, you can study so many things: bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, algae, right? Unicellular microorganisms. So you are just contributing to the wonderful library on this planet, at least by knowing this, right? So let's go further. What do we have here? How do we understand biology? What an important question. So knowledge is power. So I would always say this: whenever you read a book, whenever you just try to acquire some knowledge through different sources, it might be through a video, it might be through a book, it might be through a lecture, it might be through your own imagination. Knowledge is knowledge. There is no parallelism for knowledge. So whenever you try to acquire knowledge, now what happens is, when you study biology in 12th standard and 10th standard or 5th standard, now as you keep on moving up the grades, for example, let us say that some of you will become, okay, graduates in zoology, or some of you will take medicine, some of you will take paleontology, some of you will take evolutionary biology or something like that. So as you move up the course, now what happens is your core concept of understanding a subject keeps on growing. So there is no end for acquiring knowledge. The day you feel that, yes, I am done, I know everything, that is the day, okay, you really stop learning. Until you go to your grave, I'm sorry to mention this, until your end of the time, your most significant job on this planet is to acquire as much knowledge as possible, and then become as beautiful human beings as possible and contribute to this beautiful planet. Okay. Second one. So as you acquire the knowledge, What do we gain? Like, how do we analyze this knowledge? So analysis of the knowledge, as you keep on moving up, you might get an idea, that is struck with you, or you might have seen some people who are committed to, who are committed to expose these ideas. You might have seen a lot of scientists and their experiments during the course of the time in the history of any subjects you take. They might have conducted certain experiments and certain procedures to prove certain things. So even you, it can happen to you. For example, you might want to prove something, you might want to understand something. So there are two ways of experimentation. First is mind experimentation. You have to understand the concepts through mind. Second one is, as you get deeper and deeper through concepts, your next job is to really put on some, a procedure to understand even deeper. So for example, you might have your laboratories where they will explain certain basic principles. For example, analysis of salivary amylases, right? The analysis of enzyme, how it acts or something like that. It might be a simple experiment, but it deepens your concept and it will give you a live exposure to the subject, and you will see live that, okay, this really happened. Okay. So that is the advantage of experimentation. And next one is analysis. As I said, as you move up the ladder in the knowledge, right? So what you get to know is, so there are so many different things that are related to one single topic. So if you just understand one small topic and end it there, okay, you just read it in biological sense and end it there, your strength in the knowledge is not really good. So to deepen your strength, you have to read different concepts and try to correlate it, analyze the concept, look in different perspectives. Okay, try to interrelate different topics. Okay, so as you interrelate different topics, now naturally you're speaking to yourself more and more about the subjects in different perspectives. So once you get more and more deeper into this, analyzing and experimenting and gaining knowledge, you are a perfect science student, I would say. Okay. What a wonderful slide this is. Okay. For example, most of our time is spent in the, between the four walls, whether it is a classroom or it is your dorms or is your hostel or your home. But for us to go look live to the every aspect that has happened in this world or that is happening in this world with respect to knowledge or science or any subject you take, okay, it is not quite possible. Okay. Practically, it's not possible practically. So books and your resources that you're provided are the greatest source for you to really teleport yourself, right? For example, you might take a book and you might start studying about cell biology. Now your mind is living inside a cell. Maybe you are trying to study heredity, okay, about inheritance, how characteristics are transferred from one person to another person or parents to offsprings. Okay, or you might study about a behavior of a particular animal that is living in Alaska or Antarctica. So as you read these books, you are really going into the deeper experiences of that place itself. So you get to experience life, okay, in your mind. You relive this moment in your mind. So read more, bring the habit of reading more. Okay, try to discuss in your mind, try to discuss with your friends, try to discuss with your teachers as much as possible, so that your perception about a particular concept deepens as wide as possible. All right. So books are the keys, students. Go to the books so that you might never have a bored life. So you will have a very balanced, okay, and pure, knowledgeable mind. So you see things very differently compared to so many different people around you. Okay. So the question for us now is, if I study just biology, would it justify everything, knowing the life? Is it possible? Definitely not. So there is always an interrelationship. That is a beauty of all the subjects. We are all interconnected. If I want to understand biology completely, without the chemical aspects of biology, biology is nothing, right? Biology is nothing. Why I would say biology is nothing? Every single cell that you have in your body or any organism that is around you, all of them have these organelles, right? Everything is made up of biomolecules. okay, which are just chemicals, for example, lipids, sugars, your DNA, RNA, proteins, right? All of them are chemicals. So understanding chemicals and chemical foundations would give you a better understanding in knowing even deeper concepts in biology. Similar to that, we have physics. Physics is such a wonderful subject, I would say. So physics has helped biology to build tools. Take, for example, your microscope, electron microscopy, okay, or spectroscopy, your scanning machines, your MRI machines, your CT scans, your X-rays that you use in the hospitals, your surgical instruments that you use in your medical treatments, your stethoscope. Who creates all this, right? So people who have the ability to relate subjects, okay, and build a deeper sense in interdisciplinary courses like biology, physics, biology, chemistry, bio and mathematics, okay, they have, okay, that results in wonderful discoveries and wonderful contributions for understanding deeper and deeper with respect to subjects. Okay, let us talk about mathematics. So usually for biology students, mathematics becomes a hard cake, it's a hard cup of tea to swallow or eat. So, but mathematics has contributed significantly in data analysis. Okay, we are able to understand the statistics of growth, development, climate change, okay, an experimentation, a data, a survey, okay. You take any experimentation that we have to do, it is based on mathematical principles. So without these basic concepts that you're going to study in your 11th and 12th standard, okay, I would say that 11th and 12th standard is a gift where you get exposed to different subjects, okay, as basic as possible to as important as possible. Okay, make use of all the subjects and try to build your basic knowledge as strong as possible, so that when you choose one specialization, whether it is biology or chemistry or physics or mathematics, okay, you are a complete, okay, what do you tell? We don't want intelligence, we want intellectuals. Okay, there is a difference. So find out the meaning between intellectuals and intelligence. So another question. Okay. So today we have moved far, far, far in our science and technology. So we have developed several different tools, okay, from electron microscopy to ECG machines, okay, to extracting DNAs, understanding the codes that are present in the DNA, what is genetics, how are the characteristics that are transformed, storing the data, okay, really decoding the entire basis of life itself. We are able to see the smallest of the smallest microorganism, okay, with the powerful instruments that we have. Okay, and we are trying to bridge all these interdisciplinary subjects for one fundamental concepts. Okay, so why do we have to do all these things? Okay, for example, we use medicines on a daily basis. Somebody gets a surgery done, somebody gets their heart detected, somebody gets their disease analyzed. We build vaccines, for example, COVID-19. We analyze genetic diseases, okay, so that the babies will not suffer in the future, right? So, for example, we might detect certain things that are going on in our environment. So all these tools and interdisciplinary subjects that we have developed over the period of time has resulted in a very vast, okay, science with respect to biology. Okay, 1 second, just give me a second, people. Yeah. So what do we do here? For us, I told you in the beginning itself, it is a privilege, okay, to be able to guide students to achieve their wonderful dreams, right? So we want them to reach their goals. We don't want one linear application, okay, of our help. For example, we are not just helping, okay, all the students to become doctors or all the students to become NITs. Okay, we want the students to become the best of the society. For example, we want engineers, we want pioneers, we want explorers, okay, we want best of the doctors, we want best of the artists, right? We want best of the poets, we want best of the researchers. We want you to become great scientists, civil servants, okay, our national servants, okay. Any single field you take, okay, it all depends upon your 11th and 12th standard. So we as Avanti group, so we are here to put this foundation so that you get very accurate, okay, and as much help as you require to achieve your dreams. All right. So it would be fantastic. Okay. For us also, it is such a responsibility and such an honor, okay, to be a part of this program and be, I know, and trying to help all the students, okay, to achieve these dreams. And we would really, look up someday where we want to see the bright smiles on your face, where you have become somebody else in the future. Okay, somebody else, but the best of the human beings. All right. So we have one more question, people. Uh, so can you put me one a small answer? Are you okay with the sessions? Are you understanding my language? Is it fine the way I'm talking? So should I reduce my pace? Anything? You just put in the chat box. Since I will give 1 minute for this question, so you can answer two questions. One, are you fine with how the session is going? And the second one, you can answer this question. So the question is, who is the father of biology, right? So I will launch the poll for you. It'll be interesting. 1 second. Yeah. So I hope the poll has appeared. So you can see the timer here. Okay, the clock is ticking. So you have 30 seconds for each answer. First thing, who is the father of biology? I want you to answer in the MCQ. Second thing is, are you enjoying the session? Okay, that is the second answer. Good people, 2 on 2. 2 people have answered D. Okay, we'll just circle it. Okay, 2 people have answered D. So I'm looking for the second question too. Please put in the chat box if you're okay, if you're understanding the language, okay, or you're enjoying the session. Just put yes, no, something like that, as simple as possible. Yes, one of them have answered A. Okay, Theopastros. So do we have all the people? Yeah, we have 3 that have answered D, and we have 1 who have answered Theopastros. Okay, so the father of biology is Aristotle. Okay, Aristotle is the father of biology. Just give me a second. So we have a chat. So let's see. Yes, thank you. Okay, Silvasa, JNU Silvasa. So thank you for being interactive. Okay, let's continue our session. Okay. Hold on, I'll just minimize this. Okay, people. So most of you have answered Aristotle, and one of you have answered Theopastros. There is no problem with this. Okay, there is always a learning curve. It's not about right or wrong, because all of them have contributed very significantly for the field of biology. So let us take one by one and see what is their contributions. Okay, so let us take Theopastros. So Theopastros is a really okay. What do you say? He's a pioneer. Okay, he's a beginning. Okay, of understanding botanical sciences. So what he did was he tried to see different plants. He tried to understand plant growth based on size, shape, structure, okay, geographical locations, the leaf types, the flower types, and all that. Okay, so he's really responsible for systemic study of botany. Whereas Charaka, okay, we as Indians have to be so proud of Charaka. Okay, is one of the major okay pioneers of medicine for our country, okay, and for the entire globe. Today, if we are trying to study and contribute, okay, beautifully to the society in the field of Ayurveda, so we have to thank Charaka Samiti. Okay, Charaka writes in his book Charaka Samiti, where he documents so many medicinal plants. Okay, there, see, we just don't use all the parts of the plant. It has to be specific: leaves or flowers or fruits or roots. Okay, sometimes a wrong plant ingested might really kill a person. So Charaka has worked on thousands of plants, and he built the foundation for Ayurveda. So that has contributed significantly in saving millions of lives in the past, okay, and even in present today. So Socrates, okay, Socrates is a great thinker. So Socrates basically gave the foundation. Okay, I would quite disagree with Socrates being the foundation of telling that without the knowledge, okay, human life is useless. That's what his statement was. But we have great thinkers even in our country. For example, Shankaracharya, you can take. Okay, they have contributed really, really well with respect to human consciousness and the importance of knowledge and importance of mind health balance and all that. But anyways, Socrates is very well documented, so we just give all the credits to Socrates for telling that knowledge is a foundation for knowledge is a key purpose for human life. So without knowledge, without gaining continuous knowledge in our life, it becomes pretty useless. Okay, a human life having so much of intelligence and consciousness. That's what he says. Next one is Aristotle. So why do we call Aristotle as a father of biology? So Aristotle really tried to understand the systematics. For example, he tried to divide plants and animals based on their size and shape and all that things. Okay. For example, red blood, having animals having red blood and animals having no red blood. Okay. Something like that. So once Aristotle tried to divide this, okay, for example, plants, short plants, medium-sized plants, and tall trees. So morphologically, he started understanding life, and he tried to, systematically present the study of biology. So since we have a record of him initiating, okay, the systematic study of biology, so we call him as a father of biology. So we have one more answer, JV Mahi. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for your answers. It's been wonderful talking to you and interacting with you. So let's go next. When did the study start with respect to biology? I told you about Aristotle's contribution, and then comes Theophrastus, right? And then we have our Charaka, right? So actually, if you go, deeper and deeper about biological history, okay, it gets really puzzled and hard for you to really put it in one plane. Who really did all this, systematic study? But anyways, we have to go with the universal record of history of particular subject. So we go like this. Okay, Aristotle comes first with systematic study of all organisms, and then Theophrastus with botany, and Charaka with his Ayurvedic sciences, and that is where the takeoff of biological sciences took place. And where are we today? Today we are at the cutting edge of biological sciences. Okay, so we have developed so much that we can stop the disease. That, for example, a person is supposed to be born with for example, any genetic disorders. A baby would be born with any genetic disorders, with blindness or very poor quality of blood, or deformed organs or something. Instead of letting the baby to suffer all its life, today we are able to diagnose the disease before the baby is born and correct it and give a better life to it, right? So our medicines have been saving lives of millions and millions of people across the globe. So with respect to disease, with respect to diagnosis, with respect to BP, congenital diseases like BP, heart condition, diabetes. Okay, so many different conditions have been cured because of the development in medical sciences. Let's go and talk about agricultural sciences. So look at the population of human beings. We are almost touching 8 billion, right, by 2022. So which is such a big number. And imagine the amount of food that is required to feed the population. So without the development of agricultural sciences, we have come far away from the primitive agriculture, where we have developed modernized tools, right, for developing hybrid crops, for developing, a pest. I know I would disagree, but for certain times we use pesticides, insecticides, and all the things. Today we are going for organic farming. So our farming techniques and how to grow plants and how to provide the better environment, it's been improving over a period of time, right? So we really can't summarize how deeply the biology has evolved in this just a short session. So as we move on and study deeper and deeper topics, I would definitely tell you more and more stories about how are we and where we are today with respect to biological sciences. So bioweapons, right? So there is always one positiveness and two faces of coin, right? There is one positive phase and one there is negative phase. So human beings have really misused, okay, the knowledge of biological sciences to harm life in the form of bioweapons. For example, anthrax, okay, smallpox, okay, and you can take Ebola virus. So all these are bioweapons. Even COVID-19 is suspected to be a bioweapon. Okay, but there is no proof. I'm not telling that it is really a bioweapon, but so many scientists suspect that it is a bioweapon. So now, why would somebody really design some organisms to cause a disease and harm a community? So this is the ill mentality of humans. So biology is being misused in so many different wars. For example, you can take for Iraq and Iran war, where they use bioweapons. You can take Russia and Afghan war, they use bioweapons. Germans in World War One, they use bioweapons. Okay, so it's really sad to see one of the beautiful subjects being misused against community, against a population, or against living organisms, right? So when a knowledge is given, it is our essential responsibility to put it in the right direction so that we make the world a better place for everybody. Okay, so basically we can divide this biological sciences into two important branches. One is botany, other one is zoology. As you all know, so botany is plant biology and zoology is animal biology. So both are fascinating. Okay, so it is a gift for anybody who can understand plant biology or animal biology. Some people will understand both of these things. Okay, so it is really their gift. So under this botany and zoology, we have other applicative branches. For example, okay, extended branches of biology, we can tell. For example, genetics. Okay, we have population genetics. We have bioinformatics. Okay, where we use computational technology to understand the genes and heredity of all the life on this planet. Okay, we have cell biology. We have physiology, where we study human body, right? We study about anatomy. Okay, that is morphological features of your internal organs. Okay, we have evolutionary biology, and then we have classical biological sciences like botany and zoology. Astrobiology, like studying of alien life, right? And then we talk about ecology, how important is a community for the sustenance of everybody, right? Ecology is beautiful. Okay, we need more ecologists to save planet and write more papers and save environment. Anyways, we have biomechanics to support sports medicine. Okay, to train athletes, or the people who want to get physiotherapy, who had a severe accident. Okay, or the people who are suffering from certain bone problems or something like that. So we have biomedical research. We have epidemiology, study of diseases, how they spread and what is the geography of spread and all the things. So we have so many different fields that are applied in different, take for example, quantum biology, okay, biochemistry, biophysics, molecular biology, structural biology, bioengineering, okay, and medical biology, pharmacology, neuroscience, pathology. Okay, it goes on and on and on and on. So I told you, right, each of this topic you see is an ocean of knowledge. So any of it you pick, okay, you can study for the end of the time until until your last breath. You can keep on studying and keep on understanding. It's never ending. So you club this, that is one biology. Okay, so when in simple terms, life really started with chemicals. Okay, that is, you can see the structure that is floating on your screen, that is DNA, right? So with that, we have the evolution of life. So all the life, all the diversity you see around you, all the organisms, whether it is microorganism to human beings, whether it is a small microorganism to the beautiful plants and flowers and trees, okay, all of them have this same foundation of genetic material, that is DNA. And studying how this beautiful diversity has evolved and how it has come to existence. Okay, it's going to be a wonderful journey in understanding so many different features, right? So now I've put the avatar picture, but basically we are meant to say that DNA was responsible for all life on the planet, and all of the life on the planet, as it evolved, it gave rise to more conscious beings, okay, which are humans. And we as humans are given a gift to understand the secrets of life through biology, right? So this is about that, but it's not humans, but avatar. Anyways, so what are your career options, people? So you can become a researcher, you can become a doctor, you can become agricultural scientist or ecologist, okay, or a horticulturist, or you can become a farmer. Okay, then you can become like us, a wonderful professor. No, not wonderful professor, it's very self-patting. So you can become a great teacher and promote very good education to the young minds and spark them to the right direction. And next one is, you can help these voiceless organisms, okay, animals like you can take wildlife veterinary sciences where you go and work with wild organisms, or you can go with domestic veterinary sciences where you get to treat puppies and cats and dogs and buffaloes. Okay, so this is one of the most noble fields, I would say. Okay, so these are very, very rough picture of what your career options would be. There are thousands of options. So people, I have one more question. Okay, so we are running out of time also. We have just 5 minutes. So let's see. I will give you 30 seconds to answer this question. What do you want to become? Okay. What do you guys want to choose? Hold on. Yeah. Do you want to become a researcher, or you want to go to medical and veterinary sciences, or agriculture, or teaching? So the first one is medical and veterinary. Come on, come on. 3 on 3. So how many we have? Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. Okay. Wonderful. Somebody, okay, wanted to become a researcher. I appreciate your interest. On all the people who wanted to become medical and veterinary sciences, I appreciate your interest too. And I definitely hope that you reach your dreams. All right. So what are we going to do now? So all we have to do now is, first thing, we have to concentrate. Hold on. Let me make it more clear for you. Okay. We have to concentrate on understanding the basics. What are the basics? It might be anatomy, plant physiology, human physiology, cell biology, biochemistry, okay? Then classification biology or taxonomy. What you're going to study in your first year is going to contribute significantly in your entire biological career. This is the foundation. First year is your foundation for biology. If you know this 100%, right? Okay, yes, I am very confident in most of the concepts. It's hard to memorize all these things, but you can stick on to the concept. When you come across it, you will know that, yes, I know this. Okay, I can understand what they're talking about. So you will just have a lot of exposure to the terminologies, different words, different meanings, okay, and the way they state. Biology has a beautiful language. If you talk about human physiology, you have a separate different way of expressing the answer. Same goes with plant physiology, same goes with cell biology or even taxonomy. Okay, so understand the basics as thorough as possible, and that happens with your first year textbook. First, concentrate on your first year textbook as much as possible. Okay, as you study these basic concepts, try to understand them. Don't try to memorize them. Okay, build the conceptual knowledge. Okay, try to brain map. Okay, try to brain map as much as possible, so that when you start from one topic, so you can start from one and you can go next, so that you can brain map. Okay, brain map. Try to write your answers, practice diagrams. Okay, practice writing answers. Next, never shy from asking questions. Please ask questions all the single time. Okay, and the next one is solve as much problems as possible, because since you're attending your competitive examinations, it is so essential for you to have this privilege, okay, and practice and patience to solve more and more questions. Because more questions you are exposed to, your brain will get automatically adapted to the stress factor, where you will understand, okay, analyze the questions at faster rate as you keep getting exposed to more and more questions. So this is one of the high priorities. Okay, you have to spend on practice and you have to be patient. Okay, believe in progress. Take one topic at a time. Try to go with that. Okay, don't try to rush. Read the entire book. So as you keep on having the patience and practice, so gradually your speed of reading and speed of understanding will increase, and you will be successful in knowing the subjects as easy as possible, and make it as a daily practice. Don't do it weekly or monthly as your tests arise. Okay, that is really bad. Okay, people. So the books you can refer is, your first thing is your NCERT book. Go for it. Don't leave a single word. Don't leave a single diagram. Okay, pinpoint everything. Try to make highlighters in your textbooks. Okay, keep your textbook. Read as many times as possible. Make your own notes. Next one is use the effective resources that are created by Avanti Fellows, the PPTs, the notes, the questions, the question banks, whatever your teachers will provide. Please follow them and try to relate your NCERT to Avanti Fellows. Additionally, you can go with any of the materials like fingertips and question solving, previous year question banks or something like that. Okay. So we have come to an end of the session. So I have 1 minute for the session. So please, in the next session, I will be talking about what is NEET examination, that is tomorrow, and we can go start with cell biology. So for now, I will have to launch another poll for you. Okay. So this is an important poll, and I want all of you to answer this question. We have 5 questions here. You can scroll down and please try to answer within a minute, please. Sorry. Yeah, launch. Please make it as soon as possible. We ran out of time. I appreciate it. You're going to become a surgeon soon. And somebody who want to become veterinarian, medical veterinarian, I appreciate that too. I hope you reach your dreams, and hope we provide all the resources that is necessary for you to reach your dreams. All the best, people. So only one has answered, please. The rest of you. So I hope you will get more comfortable as the time moves on, Okay. So explain the concept well. Thank you. Okay. Class interesting and enjoyable. Thank you. Clears my doubts well. All right, people. Thank you for participating in the polls. Okay. Today was a short orientation session. Okay. We will have detailed discussion, and we will try to address the problems when we talk about subject. And thank you one and all. I hope you had a great session, and thank you for joining, and welcome to Avanti Fellows for Enable 2022-23. All the best for you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.